Da 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 da. Robocop theme. Yes, today I'm going to read Robocop. I love Robocop. One of my favorite movies. Great film. I even like the sequel. Not as good, but it does a lot really well. The third one? It sucks. Yeah, the third one's all kinds of terrible. Not that it doesn't have individual moments that work well and certain ideas that were actually quite inspired, but as a whole, yeah, it's a shame. I even actually liked they had a mini-series, I think it was called Prime Directives, which I thought was entertaining enough. So, Robocop. This particular issue is not based on any of the movies. It's just, I guess, it's not a retelling of any of the movies so far as I'm aware. It seems to be the continuing adventures of Robocop. So, let's go. Okay, well, it's okay. It feels a bit rushed. No, I don't think it's the pacing that was the problem. It feels like the authors had a decent premise to work with, but didn't take the time to really flesh out the details and how it would all work so that it makes sense. So, Evil Jack, or whatever his name is, gets out of prison after 25 years and is palling around with his buddy and says, so, let's raise some hell in old Detroit. And he says, sorry man, we can't, because, Robocop. And he says, what the heck is Robocop? And my first thought was, really? You don't know what Robocop is? Is there a complete information blackout in the prison system? Later you find out that he had indeed heard of Robocop, but he figured it was just a story that they told the inmates to, now you behave when you get out or Robocop will get you. The boogeyman. But his what the heck is Robocop doesn't make any sense. Maybe if the line was like, what? Robocop is real? Yeah, something like that. So, OCP, the giant corporation that built Robocop, and I don't know if this actually, where in the Robocop timeline this takes place, but OCP does own the police at one point. So OCP and the mayor have created a joint resolution to seize all the guns. So literally they're coming to get your guns, like with a truck. Like the police come back up with a truck and they get all the guns and they throw them into the truck and they drive them away. Now, there is lip service to some idea of you can only own a weapon if it's approved and registered with OCP and registered with the police department. The story never gets into the minutia of gun rights or any type of debate. Like, well, if you take all the guns, we'll have nothing to defend ourselves with. Well, if you have no guns, you'll have nothing to shoot each other with. There's no back and forth like that. There's no examination or commentary of, is this whole ability to register approved weapons just lip service? I mean, in the sense that it makes it literally impossible to actually own a weapon. It's like, well, just register your weapon, derp-de-doo. It's like, you literally can't! You don't approve it! They never go into that. It's just OCP, the city takes your guns. Okay. So, 3 weeks later, our freshly out of prison jailbird, Evil Jack, or whatever I named him, has somehow become the liaison between OCP and the cops. How? I don't know. No idea, but he must have some incredible people skills. So obviously the idea is to use the fact that OCP and the cops are taking all the guns and storing them in somewhere, and then he's going to steal all the guns, and then he'll have all the guns and he can sell them. Oh, okay, there's a plan. There is our plot. So, not only does he steal all of the guns, like the city of Detroit's, all of its guns, which is like a huge warehouse full of guns. They steal all the guns, but nobody notices. Lewis and Robocop are thinking, oh, there's something shady about this guy who just got out of prison 3 weeks ago and is now the liaison between the mayor and OCP and the police department in regards to the guns. Something's fishy here. So they go out to where he was arrested 25 years ago, this big warehouse thing. They're like, oh my god, he's got all the guns! How did he do that? We didn't even know they'd been stolen! It's like, what? He managed to steal a city's worth of guns? Not only did he manage to steal a city's worth of guns, but he did it without anyone noticing? They must be just kept in a series of those portable plastic tool sheds that you buy at Home Depot. And they don't guard them. They're just, oh, okay, what do we want to do with all the guns? Oh, just put them in those little sheds out there where no one's looking or guarding. There's no security, no cameras, nothing. So, there's some character stuff going on where Lewis is going for detective, which means she might get promoted, which means that she would no longer be Robocop's partner. Sad. So there's some interesting character drama there. They do end up... Lewis actually lies to the protesting crowd of, we need our guns. She says, well, she gets on a bullhorn. The mayor has... because they're about to start throwing Molotov cocktails and stuff. The mayor has decided to return all your guns and re-examine the gun laws. Go home. You won. And the liaison guy, Evil Jack, is like, ooh, you... yeah, we won. Fudge. And so he slinks off with his tail between his legs, and the angry crowd disperses. And Lewis gets promoted to detective and gets stuffed in a closet to work on cold case files so that she's out of the way, because they couldn't fire her because it'd be a public relations nightmare. And Evil Jack is in another warehouse talking with some other lackey, saying, well, this just accelerates our timetable, because the guns were just for funds. Really, our main goal was all this stuff, and it's a warehouse full of technology that they've stolen from OCP, including 2 entire ED-209s. You know, you have 15 seconds to comply. Yeah. And again, not only did they seem to steal a ton of OCP tech, including at least 2 ED-209 units, they seem to have lifted all this crap without anybody noticing. How do you steal 2 $300 million robots? Someone's got to at least notice they're gone. Didn't we have 2 more of the... Again, it's not bad. The story, the book, it's not bad. It's an okay read. It just feels like the authors didn't really think the specifics of the story through very well. or I missed something as I read it. I am a fallible reader myself, so. This is not the end, though. There's another Robocop book available on Comixology Unlimited. That's a different storyline. It appears to be based on the original script for Robocop 3. So, now, as a bonus, 2-in-1 today, I'm going to read Robocop Last Stand. We'll see if the comic based on the original script turns out to be any better than the movie. I'll be right back. Well, no. Then again, only 2 issues are available, so I didn't get to read that much of it. I would say that at least so far, the movie works a little bit better in that it explicitly tells you what's going on. In the comic book, it's either explained you're just dropped into the middle of the action. RoboCop is the media is slandering RoboCop as a terrorist. He's on the lam. Officer Lewis has already been killed. There's OCP and some Japanese corporation are trying to buy out a neighborhood so that they can build super neighborhood. Pretty much the plot line of RoboCop 3 movie, except this one doesn't explain what's going on. In the movie, all the cops quit. And so OCP just hires gang people to run to be police. And that kind of seems to be who the police are in this book. But I only know that because I saw the movie. You're like, okay, well, who are these police then? In the movie, you actually see Lewis die, where she's gunned down, and it's actually a pretty ballsy choice, and for the most part works. It's one of the things in the film that actually was a good idea and is executed fairly well. In the book, he just thinks back to it once, at least again in the first 2 issues. And it's like, oh, Lewis is dead, don't know how or why. Not even sure what RoboCop is fighting against, not even sure why he's being smeared as a terrorist. I mean, you can kind of infer these things, and you can really do it, especially if you've seen the movie, but if I'd never seen the movie, I'd probably be fairly lost. I will say that they get rid of the PG-13-iness of the movie. The movie was definitely watered down. The kid who reprograms the ED-209 to be loyal as a puppy, she's not in here, at least so far. She's actually... she and the older woman are the same character. So she just programs an ED-209 to be as loyal as a puppy. And her thing seems to be... In the movie, she was the person who didn't exactly build RoboCop, but at least was the person who'd been maintaining him for the last several years. This character seems to just be she's a RoboCop fanboy, I guess. And she tracks him down and helps him and tries to reprogram him to make him fall in love with her. Maybe, kind of, not really sure. So, I think, again, only read 2 issues out of a total of 8, so maybe everything really ties together. But the first 2 issues are... As a reader, I feel, probably didn't intentionally do it, but it seems to require you to know the movie to really understand what's going on. But it does get the tone of RoboCop right. The interstitial, the television commercial interstitials, those are fine. The way the news media works, that's fine. So, yeah, it's got a lot of work to do to pull itself together post issue 2. But I will say one thing. I like the fact that Robocop looks really beat up and worn down. He takes off his helmet, and it looks like the Alex Murphy skin face is starting to decompose a bit. It's just really battle damaged, and I think that's an interesting choice. I like that. So that's one thing that the book I'll give a thumbs up on. But unfortunately, the rest of them are not available on the unlimited service, so that's as much as I can say about that. So, Robocop is still awesome, at least the first movie, and the second. I still stand up for the second. So, yeah, I think if Verhoeven had directed the second, he really could have made something super special out of it. Because it's almost there. But this is 30 days of comics, not 30 days of underappreciated sequels. So, see you tomorrow.